I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you very much for joining us for our special update as we track this storm around southern New Zealand. And for those tuning in to check up on Cyclone Kimi, well, it's been downgraded. It's now an ex-cyclone between Port Douglas and Townsville as a rainmaker, and it's falling apart. In fact, on the wind map, that is it just there, that little small dot. This is the storm affecting New Zealand. That was a tropical cyclone just a few hours ago. So much smaller. Cyclones often are a little bit more potent in the middle, and these extratropical systems down here, they tend to be much, much bigger. But that gives you an idea as to the two different systems affecting the two different countries. And even this New Zealand storm is impacting some parts of Aussie, including a southerly that's coming into Sydney. So we've got a cold southerly on the way that arrives on Wednesday, but before that, the warm nor'westers ahead of it will push places like northern Canterbury, eastern sides of the North Island, and the very top of New Zealand above average. Everyone else, you're about to start to get the cool change. So let's take a look at the rainfall the next 7 days ahead around New Zealand. Now look, the green and the yellows, that's at the bottom of the scale, although it's at the top of the key, but the bottom of the scale, so just a few millimetres coming for northern areas. Eastern areas have even less. The blue you're seeing there, that's just 0.1 to 1 millimetre, so that's basically just a couple of spits coming over the ranges, basically won't even wet the ground. And it's a similar story along the eastern side of the South Island, very little in the way of rain, considering you've got this big storm just down here, but that's where all the rain is. On the west coast, rainfall totals 150 millimetres, maybe getting closer to 200 in some spots of the west coast over the next 7 days, and most of that is falling over the next 3 or 4 days, and it will also fall as snow. This is the next 3 days for snow. Not a lot going into the lower areas. It's mostly above 1,500 metres, but some of these areas that you see with the pink and the yellow, that's getting 60 to 80 centimetres of snow, 150 in the pink. So there could be a couple of summits that get over a metre of snow from this event. So the mountains are going to look beautiful after this. That's a positive to take away from it. And this is tonight, 6 p.m. Tuesday. This is when the storm is about as close and as deep as it will get. It is likely to linger in this area but start to weaken a little bit as we go through Wednesday. You can see the windy change tonight. There's the front that's moving up into northern areas. For Auckland and northwards, a couple of isolated downpours, might be an isolated thunderstorm, and a couple of squally gusts of wind. Otherwise, the worst of the winds are mostly down around Wellington today, and tonight it really blows through the mountains. Gusts to 150 kilometres an hour on the tops of the mountains, and lower down where people live, 120, maybe 130 gusts through the mountains, around Cook Strait, around Wellington, those areas there. This is lunchtime Wednesday. So you can see the low hasn't moved much, but the air pressure 973, it's going up. So it's starting to weaken a little bit, but look at all those winds. It is a very windy Wednesday, and the blue line there indicates that cold wintry change. So we're talking about this midsummer winter storm. And that's the reason why we're going to be seeing those snow levels on the mountains. And that wind flow being a strong gale westerly means Canterbury will be mostly dry and also not as cold. You won't be as cold because of that warming up effect of the wind blowing over the hills. In the north, it is definitely a cooler day. So let's take a look at the temperatures. The departure from normal on Wednesday. So the areas in green, you're not on the key. That means you've got average normal temperatures for this time of the year. So that's some of these northern eastern areas, even Banks Peninsula, South Canterbury, some spots bang on normal for this time of the year. But you go inland and you can see these areas in pink, including the North Island, that's more than 8 degrees below average at the warmest point of the day. We've been seeing a lot of red maps over the last 12 months. It's a little surprise, bit jarring to see all the blue going the other direction. So I guess it's a way of Mother Nature balancing things out a little bit. And the swells, or the waves are going to be also significant on Wednesday across the whole western side of New Zealand and the southern sides. We're talking about, I'm standing in front of the size of the swells, but just trust me on this one. You can see it on the website, by the way, if you want to break it down more. But really, you're talking about 5, 6, 7 metre waves coming into the western side, 8, 9, 10 metre waves coming in, especially the southwestern corner, and that will also come in around Southland and Stewart Island. So this is a very serious event. And if you're looking over here going, well, it looks pretty calm in the pale blue, on the key there, that's just a metre waves, so that's nice. But remember, you've got a gale force westerly. So if you're on a floatable device with a gale force westerly on a calm beach, you probably get blown out to sea. And I'm not saying that as a joke. This does happen. So please don't go out to the water maybe for just a couple of days. It's not going to be very warm anyway, so the air temperatures, that's for sure. Let's move on. Here's Thursday. So Thursday's not looking too flash either. The low is weakening though, 984 hectopascals, so that's going up in air pressure. It's a windy, cool day across the country. Temperatures are below average. Or about average in a number of spots, but are still leaning below normal. And then as we get towards the end of the week, the winds finally calm down in a number of areas. Not everyone. Auckland's still got a bit of a sou'wester and a couple of showers and a little cooler. In the south, you've still got showers on the west, but your airflows coming out of Australia are nor'wester, so that will help lift your temperatures up briefly, because by the time we get into Saturday, you've got more of a west to southwest wind coming from sort of the Southern Ocean. Nothing like what you've just had. And in fact, when you track the origins, that also comes out of the Australian desert. So it's not going to be very cold, but it's also not going to be super hot for those of you in the south. With that high coming into the north though, that encourages more of those windy westerlies across New Zealand. So the weekend's still going to be a little bit unsettled as we go into it. That's all from me. We've got a lot to talk about today. If you need all the information, go to our website or download our free app, Weather Watch NZ. You can download it, no charge. And you've got the latest here, 25 maps showing you what is going on, so you can really take a look at it, get a bit more detail. And obviously the hourly forecast we have at Weather Watch and the hourly forecast we have at ruralweather.co.nz, they're very, very helpful at working out what time the winds peak where you live or where you're camping or where you're staying. So please check out those websites. That's all from me for today. I'll be back again on Wednesday with our next video update.